On January 22nd of the year 2025, Bishop Michael F. Burbidge of the Diocese of Arlington, Virginia, issued a pastoral letter called The Christian Family, In Vitro Fertilization and Heroic Witness to True Love. In his letter, Bishop Burbidge seeks to guide people of good will and the faithful to better understand the respect that is owed to the human person by addressing the inherent dangers and immorality of in vitro fertilization, IVF, and the perennial teaching of the Catholic Church regarding marriage, procreation, and family life. The bishop begins by discussing fertility and IVF, acknowledging that they are incredibly sensitive topics, which are often misunderstood. Because of this, they deserve to be treated with a spirit of accompaniment, compassion, and understanding, Bishop Burbidge says. To this end, and to help ensure the Church's bioethical principles are understood, the bishop cites numerous sources, including the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the Second Vatican Council, papal writings, and Catholic bioethicists, while also providing several resources for couples struggling with infertility. Bishop Burbidge points out that there is wide acceptance of IVF, with 82% of the general American population believing there is nothing immoral with the practice. And according to a recent Pew Research Center survey cited by the bishop, 65% of American Catholics view IVF as a good. This mindset, along with its accompanying actions, poses a grave threat to human dignity and human rights, which are both very obvious and at other times quite subtle, says Bishop Burbidge. Tragically, a majority of people fail to see or even acknowledge the humanity of the preborn child or how IVF commodifies life. For example, of those surveyed, 49% believe it is morally acceptable to destroy embryonic human persons created through IVF procedures. Recognizing that IVF has become widely accepted, despite its harmful and immoral nature, and because of his concern for souls, Bishop Burbidge felt the need to address the topic. He acknowledges that what the Church teaches about IVF represents a hard saying, but warns that acceptance comes at a tremendous cost. The eugenic destruction of millions of embryonic children, the severing of the bond between childbearing and conjugal love, the erosion of a child's right to natural parents, and the commodification of children. Because of a high incidence of infertility in our society, many couples resort to IVF or other similar technologies. They do so because of an understandable natural desire to bring new life into the world. However, despite the good intentions and aspirations of many married couples, IVF is contrary to justice and remains replete with moral difficulties, Bishop Burbidge wrote. The Immorality of IVF. The Church teaches that every child is a gift from God. Human life begins the moment a male sperm cell fertilizes a female egg cell and is sacred, bearing the image of God. From that moment onwards, what exists is a genetically distinct, living human being who is equal in dignity to their parents and is always to be respected. Never is a human being to be used as a means to an end. IVF contradicts this understanding. Catholics must avoid using or supporting IVF. And as expressed by Bishop Burbidge, Catholics should also understand why it is morally wrong in every circumstance. IVF does harm to the marital union and to the couple themselves. It goes against God's plan for the way children are to be conceived exclusively through the loving embrace of a husband and wife, to be begotten, not made. Instead of assisting the martial act to achieve its natural end, in IVF, doctors and technicians, rather than spouses, bring about a life, achieving pregnancy by actions performed in a laboratory, in a petri dish, where the reproductive cells, sperm and egg of the husband and wife, or from a donor, are combined. Second, IVF always results in the destruction or killing of some embryos. In most IVF procedures, many more embryos are conceived than will be used for implantation in the mother's womb. Doctors select only the embryos they deem to be healthy to place in the womb. The excess embryos are then either destroyed or are frozen in an embryo bank for future implantation or to be used for experimentation. As a consequence, there are literally millions of embryos frozen in labs all around the world, with their eventual destruction likely. Another reason the Church opposes IVF is because of the extremely close connection between IVF and elective abortion. It is a common practice to maximize the success of an IVF procedure by implanting multiple embryos in a woman's womb at the same time, hoping that at least one will implant. However, in cases where multiple embryos take, where only one child is desired, it is common for couples to selectively reduce, i.e., abort, the unwanted embryos. So, the doctors will kill one or more of the other children in the womb. Or, if they are not all deemed healthy, doctors will kill the ones who are not developing well. This is no way to treat human beings, even tiny embryonic ones. IVF, which creates life, leads to the death of embryonic human beings who, for whatever reason, are not desired after they have been engendered, often subjected to the arbitrary choices of those who have brought them into being. Its utilitarian mindset considers children as commodities, products to be produced for adult needs and consumption. This view and its approach dehumanize children, leading to immoral practices like genetic engineering, designer babies, and material for experiments. Millions are frozen in liquid nitrogen, preventing them from reaching their full developmental potential. This is a great moral injustice, Bishop Burbidge says. Source: Father Shannon Bouquet, President, Human Life International.